بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. I wanted to share with you a piece I wrote about Malcolm X when I was first introduced to him at the age of 11. And it's a short poem. It goes, "Brother, I see you standing tall, saying and claiming what's right and not wrong at all. I see you falling like the tears of my eyes. I see you fighting for freedom, fighting for justice, which does not exist at all. The ones that killed you were jealous, that's all. They were jealous of seeing you stand tall. Brother, I wish you were here today. We truly need you. And someday I pray to become like you."
By any means necessary.
I'm 16. Yes, I'm finally 16, a decade and 6 years old, 192 months of age, 5,840 days have passed of my fragile existence. I'm finally 16, but Katy Perry, I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm not living the typical teenage dream. I'm living my dreams. Because the immorality of this system is sickening. I mean, why is it expected of us teenagers to constantly be in the streets in order to immorally fulfill our animalistic desires? Because there is more to this temporary life than temporary satisfaction, and knowledge is the key and it's the first step to breaking free. But thanks to the education system, that positive desire is also fading away because they teach us that a number is what defines us, and that's the only way we can please our parents. But to be honest, I have learned more from what I have not learned in school. How ironic. But Prophet Muhammad has taught me women's rights and the importance of knowledge. Malcolm X has taught me change, and I decided to look beyond what they hide from us, and I found the genocide of the indigenous. King Leopold's massacre of the millions, diamond mines, child slaves, genocides, the teachings of Avicenna, Al-Ghazali, Mutahari, and the greatest Eastern scholars. I'm breaking free. I refuse to be another teenager that's expected to do nothing but indulge in what's not good for me. Because if you ask me, I'd rather have a one-night stand with a book and give birth to knowledge. I'd rather be high on the beauty of this life and spread a meaningful message. I'd rather be intoxicated by pure love instead of a substance that's caused the death of millions, yet is still being advertised on TV and being sold by the government to the masses. I'm breaking free. I refuse to accept that my parents are my biggest enemies and they're constantly out to get me. I refuse to spit words that have no meaning or lack an ounce of morality. I won't allow the brand name I wear on my shirt be what defines me. And speaking of clothing, I know you've been wondering this entire time, and the answer is yes, indeed. I will cover myself for God, not any man's opinions or suggestions. I want you to look at my mind and say, wow, there's some knowledge. Let's draw some lessons. And there's no doubt that Jesus would be disappointed to see those who dress like his mother being discriminated against and abused. Because if the Virgin Mary was of this generation, for God's sake, she'd be covered up too. So to those feminists and the media who think they need to save me, let me tell you, I was never in any need of saving from my religion or attire to begin with. I just need saving from people's ignorance. I'm breaking free, breaking stereotypes and circling around the popular beliefs. I'm ready to live my dreams, travel the world, feed the poor, and no, not only those with hungry stomachs, but those with starving minds and souls, knowing I am one of them too, and I'm ready to be fed. I'm 16. I'm finally 16, but Katy Perry, I'm sorry, but scratch that. I'm not sorry to break it to you, but I'm not living the typical teenage dream. I'm living my dreams. Every day, there's a war inside of me. A revolution being fought, the struggle of breaking bad habits and ignoring ignorant thoughts. Every morning there's a battle within me. When I begin to question firstly my own humanity, I become like a philosopher, constantly asking hundreds of questions, yet knowing I'm not always guaranteed any answers, because unfortunately, throughout my 16 years of fragile existence, I have come to realize that his story and her story, history and her story are bound to repeat themselves. Yet every morning I wake up and ask myself, man, woman, and humankind, for how long will we keep on bickering? For how long will we be willing to live our precious lives with closed eyes, with empty, ignorant thoughts, with thoughtless words, with reckless actions, or with no actions at all? For how long? For how long will we be willing to live our lives thinking ignorance is bliss, when in fact it's a malignant disease that resides in our hearts, minds, and souls? But tell me, friend, tell me, do you think there will ever come a time when the people of this world are colorblind? When you are firstly seen as you, not negatively associated with any race, color, or a kind? Tell me, do you think the time will come when the world is united as one? Do you think the time will come when egos are buried before people are? Tell me, do you think the time will come when mankind is no longer boasting of their kind, but have their heads held up with a humble, accepting smile? A time when mankind is always kind. Tell me, do you think the time will come when death is constantly on our minds? Call it morbid. Call it scary, yeah, call it whatever you want to call it. And yes, after skydiving and public speaking, death is known to be one of the most feared concepts. Ironic if you ask me, but let me tell you, death is truth, and it's part of life. So live your life knowing it could take a blink of an eye for someone you know and love to turn into someone you knew and used to love. So from death, learn how to live. With each breath, aspire to learn and give. Know that in each tear there is passion waiting to escape your actions. Know that your heart is the home to hidden cures, and your mind is the chest bearing treasures, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be treasured. And while reading the words of God, I see that he repeatedly says, every single soul shall taste death. So as I look in the mirror, I say, let me tell you, young 16-year-old who's looking for answers to put together the pieces of humanity in this world, I have come to learn that humankind has come a long, long way, yes, but there's many miles to go, because death does not discriminate, yet humankind has yet to learn to not do so. And thank you.